Hey everybody, welcome to the Fancy Werewolf Lounge. Now that we're open, please infect our establishment with Corona. Welcome back everybody to the Fancy Werewolf Lounge. I am your host, Josh Pfizer.
Hey guys, it's Liberty Bell.
And Liberty, you're not drinking today because you
You can
apparently
see it in my face. I have the liquor sweat still from yesterday.
Yeah, I was trying to get like a hold of you like pretty much all day to be like, hey, let's hang out. And I was just like, is she mad at me?
I was like quite drunk by like 3 p.m.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear more about that. But before that, we have a special guest. So we're gonna hear a little bit from his comedy right now.
Or we're not going to hear it.
Oh, shit. You guys can't hear it?
No.
This is a new kind of comedy. It's
Interpretive.
It's mute comedy.
I gotta turn it off now because I can't. I can't. I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it, but I was like, you know what? I'll just edit it to where it's just like, here's a clip, and then
Works for me.
play the give up. Fuck. God damn it. Zoom. Why do you do this to me? Anyway, it's Matt Lamb. Thank you. Welcome, Matt Lamb.
Hey, welcome, Matt.
Hello.
How you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty great. I'm enjoying my one of my last free Sundays for a minute. Well, I guess no, I'll always be free on Sunday. My last Sunday that I don't have to work the next day, I should say then.
Okay. Oh, good. You're starting a new. Well, and we were talking about this before we started recording, but you recently moved to Pittsburgh from Des Moines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. How you loving it?
It's been weird because I was supposed to have a job when I got out here, and then that job fell through because COVID and everything got out of control. So I've just been mostly hanging out in my apartment for like 2 or 3 months, and haven't really gotten.
Well, I mean that has to suck. You especially moved to a new, interesting city, and you're just like, yeah, I can't wait to.
And I'm just stuck inside all day. The stand-up comedy scene, I think, is just now starting to get back into motion. But like, I guess out of respect, I'm kind of letting the locals have first call on all the open mics before I start showing up and being like, hey, I want to do it too.
Right.
After a little while, I'm going to start showing up because I got to get back. It actually was longer than my move before I was able to do comedy because I think my last stand-up set ever was February. Like, it's been a minute.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
killing me.
Right?
Yeah, our other regular co-host, Aloe Mean, I saw on Facebook, he started doing going back to the clubs to do stuff. So.
Yeah, Thursday night, I think this Thursday was the first open mics that were running again in Iowa. As you know, Iowa is fully open now, 100% capacity, unless the business themselves decides to, socially distance or limit their capacity. But so yeah, Teehee's open back up, the comedy bar open back up, they're running shows and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of exciting, but at the same time, scary,
Yeah,
a little scary.
It's just hard to figure out what the rules are. Weirdly enough, like I think the thing about like that's weird to me is that like the majority of people going out aren't wearing masks.
Yeah,
right.
And not just like to the bars, which is like, yeah, but like I would say, as opposed to like a month ago when I like would go to the store, like I would say 85% of people were wearing masks, and now it's I
Like
would
hardly anybody.
well, I would say 50-50 now, but yeah, it's still like a weird thing. Like I like people think just because it's open that COVID's not around
Well, it's
anymore.
the enemy that you can't see, you know.
Yep.
So like, it's it's almost like I don't know. My dad kind of always told me growing up, like, believe nothing of what you hear and only half of what you see. Well, nobody can see this,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like out of sight, out of mind, I guess. But it's very real. So
Yeah. And
I don't know. It's just like anything.
they're estimating us like we're supposed to get a second wave, but we're not even through our first wave. Like America, like we've seen in other countries have gotten the second wave, but they've also did better to help people isolate. But anyway,
Well, we have really incompetent leadership, so
That's
how dare you?
Happy
You are
birthday, Trump.
our president, Liberty.
Happy birthday.
Happy
That's your
birthday.
present from me. You're incompetent.
Was it his birthday recently?
Yeah, it's actually his birthday today.
no shit.
Yeah, he's he's the third sitting president that's over 70 years old. And I saw in the Waterloo Courier, they posted 74 pictures of Donald Trump for his 74th birthday. And I'm like,
What?
yeah.
That's a ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Well, did you see how everybody's posting pictures of Obama today?
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, it's Obama Appreciation Day. Fuck Trump.
Well, here's the thing.
It cracked me up.
I think in the past couple of years after I kind of me getting into more left-leaning politics is like my love for Obama has gone down, but the fact that people are doing that is going to piss Trump off, and I'm okay with
Oh
it.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's just like
That's the best part. Like,
yeah.
I legitimately had like 4 different people share like you know how people forward shit to your inbox. Like 4 different people sent me like a little flyer basically that said, on June 14th, post pictures of Obama to piss Trump off on his birthday. I'm like, okay, this is something I would get.
Yeah, and it's especially there's especially fucked up thing because there's Juneteenth. Is that today or is that?
It's the 19th.
19th. Okay, yeah, and it's for other ignorant white people like myself. It's the celebration of the end of slavery. So he's planning. What is he planning?
He had planned a rally in Tulsa, which, if you don't know anything about Tulsa, you know, at one point in history, basically the community just bombed and
it was
murdered.
It was considered Black Wall Street, right?
Right. So he got a lot of, you know, obvious negative responses to that, so he did change the date of the Tulsa rally. So
well, I think more people know about it because it was used as a plot point in the new Watchmen television series. So people are more aware because of that. Unfortunately, not because history actually gets taught in our history classes. But anyway, Matt.
Yes.
We asked this of our guests. First off, what have you been doing to stay mentally, physically, emotionally healthy during this time, during these uncertain times, as all the commercials are telling us?
Honestly, like video games and TikTok.
What
TikTok? Hey.
Yeah. What video games are you playing?
I've been cracking out to Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
It's my comfort game. Like, that's like I'll bounce around from a lot of different games, but like in between other games, and I'm trying to figure out like what else I want to play. But I know I want to play video games. I always just go back to Dark Souls 3.
Okay. Yeah, my go back to game is GTA 5 or Red Dead 2.
Oh yeah. Just something that you can like. It's something that you know, like where you want to go. Like even if you don't have anything you specifically want to do,
Yeah.
you know enough about it to be like, even if I don't have an end goal, I can just stick around and still have fun.
Yeah, just like I don't know much about Dark Souls, but GTA is just like, okay, I'm gonna buy up all the rocket launchers and just cause havoc downtown. Or
Hell yeah.
golf. That game
What I
is,
love most about GTA is how unbelievably unrealistic it is. Like you can literally crash your car like 50,000 times and you're fine. Like it's still driving.
yeah. Oh no,
great.
So good.
not in GTA 5. GTA 5 it gets realistic damage and will blow up fairly soon.
Well, good. Then props to them for fixing that. But I always think it's hilarious to like watch people play, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
you would have been dead like 50 times in real life already. But
Yeah, well that's true.
whatever.
You can get shot like 20 times. Like there's a I forgot his name. There's a ex jewel thief who's reviewing GTA 5 games, and it's hilarious because he'll be like, that's not how you're supposed to do it. You shouldn't drive like a fucking maniac, but I still like the game. It's still fun.
Yeah, when I play it, everybody makes fun of me because they're like, Liberty, you don't have to drive like a grandma. This is like
You're one of those
this is
assholes
like you
who
don't have to follow the legal street rules. And I'm like, but I do. Like,
I need to do
mind
that.
your business. I'm having fun over here.
I think there is like a fun in that, in like after you've done all the chaos stuff, just being an upright citizen.
Just being fun.
Driving simulation. It's
Right.
quite fun, actually.
But Matt, does that? I think that also your video game thing goes into the other question, which is what entertainment have you been consuming during all this?
Or media, yeah.
Or media.
Yeah, I mean, I binge watched a bunch of different TV.
Yeah.
I watched all of the anime Parasite,
Nice.
which was really good. Enjoyed that a lot. And then I watched like 3 seasons straight of Community because I wanted to go through it again.
Yeah, I pretty much finished that like the first 2 weeks it was on Netflix.
So good.
I love it.
I love it.
Did you
I think it's better than Rick and Morty, in all honesty. Like,
yeah.
I think that the Dan Harmon's writing on Community is more clever. I think that Rick and Morty is a great show, but I think that like if you really want to look at like Dan Harmon's best work, I think it is Community.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the Justin Roiland's new show on Hulu?
The Solar Opposites or whatever?
Yeah.
No, I actually haven't watched that. I do like Justin Roiland, but I feel like his voice acting isn't the like I appreciate what he does with his voice acting. I do think he's a talented person, but I think that the really shining piece of Rick and Morty is Dan Harmon's writing.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm talking. Like that's what I was getting at. Is just like if you watch Solar Opposites, it's fun. It's funny and all, but you can definitely tell like what makes Rick and Morty, above, so much better is it has to be Dan Harmon's writing.
Yes, he's something else. Like
yeah,
the dude made fucking Monster House and like
did he write that?
Yeah, Dan Harmon wrote Monster House. And that's why the movie was good. Like, it shouldn't have been a good movie, realistically,
Right.
like, in the grand scheme of things. But
Especially,
then, like, it's so much better than it should be.
did you watch the Entertainment Weekly stuff that they were doing with Community? They talked to a bunch of the cast about seasons, and they even did a table read of the Pierce funeral episode.
Yeah, I never ended up watching it, but, like, I did, I did watch part of their, like, or their Zoom call where they all sat in and, like, caught up.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was really fun. But yeah, so why don't you talk to us about how you got started in comedy? Like, what's your journey? Where does that begin?
So, it literally started from probably as far back as I can literally remember. In that, like, I've always enjoyed like attention, I guess is the best way of putting it.
That's a good beginning to your Goodfellas. Ever since I can remember, I've always wanted attention.
That's literally what it is, though. Like, my first time on stage, I was in 2nd grade. There was a talent show, and I didn't even really like feel like I was particularly talented. I was just like, I want to do a song and dance on stage because like I want to do it. Like, because even as a kid, I knew like, all the other kids in my school were like, I want to be a policeman, I want to be a doctor. Like they had and I was like, I really want to be famous. Like I didn't really have an idea how. I was just like, this is what I want to do. Like, so I mean, like I went from. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to do everything.
Yeah. I commend you for being honest, because I feel like a lot of comedians won't say there's plenty of reasons to get into comedy, but like, let's face it, one of the big ones is we just want attention.
Yeah, like I mean, there is the other. Like, no, it literally is like
my creative genius.
Yeah.
Like it feels good to be appreciated, and I think that like all the and yeah, I mean, I like there is a part of me that's like I do want to be a bright, like I don't just like if I wanted to just get attention, there's a billion other things that I could do, but like
you just
like
I want to I do, and making people happy makes me feel good, and like when I go on stage and like especially now that I like I'm not a fucking comic genius, but compared to when I first started to, I'm about 3 years in, and the audience reaction, like after a show now compared to when I first started is like, oh, like people genuinely enjoyed it, where like it did go from I'm doing comedy and it's more for me just because I'm not good to I actually made somebody happy, and that feels way better.
Right.
Yeah, that is pretty good. I've kind of gotten like I said, I really appreciate this kind of honesty, because one of the things I kind of hate when comedians talk about their comedy is like, I'm a modern day philosopher. It's just like, no, it's like fucking like it's sometimes it's that deep, but like most of the time you're just talking about your dick.
Oh, and that's why like I don't like I do enjoy being clever. Like don't get me wrong there. I believe like one of my main like assets is I'll fully admit it. Being a comedian was actually like literally like so it was never on the table because I never considered it because I grew up in Iowa and the comedy wasn't a thing where I grew up. Like,
where'd you
I wanted to be an actor, or I wanted be like a screenwriter. Like I had these ideas of things that I could do, and like growing up, kind of people every once in a while would tell me that I'm funny, but like even as a kid, I realized like I guess more so of a teenager is kind of when people were like, oh, you're funny, man, but like. That was like, oh, I'm a teenager funny. Like, I'm being a jackass funny. Yes. Like, I never thought like I was actually funny. And then I eventually wanted to be a musician because, again, like I've tried fucking everything. Like, I really enjoy the artistic process.
And also musicians get laid more.
Yes.
Speak for yourselves.
If you have good music, which I don't, I am not a talented musician. Turns out when you teach yourself how to do something, you're supposed to know how to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Self-taught guitar does not mean that I know how to play guitar. It means I know how to play guitar like I know how to play guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
He knows Smoke on the Water.
I don't even.
That's like the number one song. Everyone's like, yeah, I know how to play guitar, and then they play Smoke on the Water, and you're just like, fuck you.
So is that the guitar equivalent of chopsticks?
Basically.
I think I could probably figure it out.
Chopsticks is much more difficult than playing Smoke on the Water.
True. No, I picked up the acoustic and basically just like forced myself to play like the songs that I was hearing, and then just went from there. But I wanted to be in a band, and then I realized you have to get with other people who want to be in a band with you, and that never went anywhere. So I had a friend who said that he was doing stand-up comedy at University of Iowa when I was like, I think he told me about it when I was like 20 or so, and I was like, whoa, like that, it literally had never occurred to me that that was something that you could do. And then I graduated college, and I started just writing jokes for like a year before I even went to my first open mic. And then I feel like I did okay, because again, I prepared. I really was like, that joke sucks, don't tell that one. Like, here's what I think are good. I ran material by like friends and stuff, making sure that like the jokes that I was telling or had, that I was planning on telling were at least like clever. Because I've been writing has been one of my oldest hobbies. Like I like to write short stories and poetry and stuff like that. But I never saw that as like a thing I want to do for a living. That was just for fun. But I taught myself all these writing skills, and I taught myself how to do all these different things. And then I was like, I'm just going to translate that into comedy writing. And so I've always been more fond of being clever rather than like I guess that's more my style. Is like I like not necessarily puns, but like just shy of puns.
Right.
Where it's like,
well, you're also very quick-witted too. I mean, like the last show that we were on together, I think was the Graham.
Yeah.
And didn't you end up winning? I think did you win?
I think I did win that one. Yeah.
I think you won, and I just remember. I was laughing.
What is the Graham?
Oh, the Graham. Okay, so the Graham is like a comedy game show, kind of. It's all based off of Instagram. So they put like clips of videos and stuff like that, and then you have to make hashtags and like caption them and things like that. Okay. It's put on by Sean Dengler and Mohammed Y'all from Des Moines, and you guys should go follow it. It's actually really
it's
all right.
Legitimately like one of the funnest shows.
Yeah, it's awesome. I would love to do it again sometime.
Yeah,
I had a really good time.
It's a straight up blast. Like it's fun because there's also a lot of audience involvement. So it's fun as like being on it and being in the audience both. Like I've been to that show probably more than the other because I've been on it. I've gone just to watch and I've run lights, and I've had fun every single time I've gone. Highly recommend it for anyone.
I think it's such a unique and different approach, or just it's just something different than your typical showcase, So I don't know.
It's a great time.
Nice. All right.
But yeah, check out the Graham. You can just find it on Instagram at
free promo.
The Graham Comedy Show. Yeah. So
Sean Dingler and who else again?
Mohammed Y'all.
Yeah. Look them up. I'll do that. I don't get on Instagram a lot, but I'll try.
You're behind the times, Josh.
I know. I'm old. I'm 30.
Don't TikTok.
No TikTok. Instagram. No Instagram. I'm just now thinking about.
Do you tweet at all?
I have a Twitter. It's not. I don't tweet a lot. I retweet a lot. Also, I get ignorant sometimes, but like I've been keeping my trying to get a social media there have been a lot of jokes I've wanted to put on Facebook for a while, but I was just like the past couple of weeks I've been like maybe using social media for jokes is kind of right on that. Like but like I did put out one I thought was going to be more lighthearted than it ended up being about the whole J.K. Rowling thing, which I was just basically saying, is she officially
J.K. Rowling?
What a terrible person.
What's crazy about it to me too is how everybody's like, with anything else, they'd be like, oh yeah, and fuck Harry Potter too, burn all your Harry Potter shit or whatever. And with this, like, no, Harry Potter's by the fans for the fans now, and I'm like, really?
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
You're going to cancel all this other stuff.
They want to pass for Harry Potter, and I honestly, I could really care less. Like, obviously, I read the books as a kid, saw the movies and stuff, but I'm like, I know how big the fan base is and how many people love Harry Potter. But anytime you're buying any Harry Potter merch or anything like that, she's getting royalties off of it. You know?
Yep. I think at this point, I think fans of the series have enough. Like, let's face it, nobody needs to fucking see Fantastic Beasts 3. Right. I hardly know anybody, Harry Potter fan or not, who actually likes those movies. So
they were all right. I mean, I don't think they were good Harry Potter movies, but I think that they were just like fun fantasy movies.
Yeah. Well, my post was, is J.K. Rowling officially canceled yet? I would like to know so I can finally admit that I've only seen the movies and had no intention of reading the books.
Right.
because every time there's a Harry Potter discussion, I'm like, oh yeah, I like the book, I like the movies, and it's just like, actually, here's what they left out in those movies that makes the movies dog shit, and it's like some minute like spell or some shit or some kind of history thing.
Yeah.
Well, the fans are definitely diehards. There's so much fan fiction out there and stuff like that, and like I get it.
I think as far as book movies go, like
don't support
probably some of the
buying
best.
any more of the shit.
Yeah.
Like you can keep what you already got, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy like these little NASCAR dingbats burning all their NASCAR memorabilia.
Yeah,
you already gave them the money.
Oh yeah, the NASCAR.
You just look dumb as hell right now, dumber.
I saw one NASCAR driver like really upset about it, and like,
he quit.
Yeah, and somebody pulled up. He's won no races.
NASCAR themselves sent a message or a tweet out or whatever that was like, oh, that's okay because we don't even know who you are. The NASCAR driver.
It's like, well, it's just like there was arguments like a couple of years ago with the whole Cal Kaepernick kneeling thing, and everyone was just like, no, they got rid of him not because of politics, but because of he was bad. It's just like, if you look at like, compare this NASCAR guy to Cal Kaepernick, like Cal Kaepernick is fucking Michael Jordan of football compared to this guy. And I don't know much about Cal Kaepernick. I've heard he's decent and shouldn't have been let go in the first place. So, but I'm not a sports guy. So
it's not quite the same, but it just reminds me a little bit of like, I don't remember however many years ago it was, the first openly gay football player got drafted, and everyone raised this huge stink about it. And then we never heard anything from him since. And it's like, oh, you still have to be good at football, bro.
Well, he's probably good at football, but here's the thing about the NFL: it's the best of the best, and you're gonna be. It's gonna be like something you're gonna get lost in the shuffle because like there of how many teams there are and how many players, like maybe a dozen are famous.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those like funny things where it's like, you're gonna take all this attention and be the first out football player. Like, and as a gay guy, I was like excited. I was like, oh my god, like I'm seeing a gay like football player. Like, this is really cool for me. And then like he kind of just went nowhere. And it's like, couldn't you have been like a cool like star quarterback or something? Like, man, like you really let us down.
You really let us down. Well, I don't know if you guys remember like the Aaron Hernandez situation.
Oh yeah.
And how that was like a controversy too, that other players were coming out and saying that he was gay, and that was part of maybe why he was so unbearably angry, and like, not that it's like an excuse to become a murderer, but there's a lot of turmoil with that, because being an openly gay person is scary in any scenario, let alone
football.
the manliest sport, or whatever.
Something that's been historically over macho and homophobic.
Right. I mean, it's just toxic masculinity at its finest. Like, you can be gay and play football. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's why I was so excited. And then the guy was just like, where'd you go?
Well, I mean, like, I do think that there's an expectation, and again, take this with a grain of salt because I'm a straight cis white male, but there's an expectation for anybody who's like a minority coming into like a majority, like a homogenous type of field, to kind of be better than most people when they kind of get more expectation put on them.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like just being an average player is like to the NFL.
Well,
like,
to be an average player in the NFL is still an accomplishment.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like,
I think for me, it was more like it was this huge media sensation. Like, it was hyped as this like big thing, and then it just like completely deflated. Like, because it sucks because like, I guarantee he wasn't the first. I mean, obviously, there's no way. Like,
no, absolutely not.
Zero chance he was the first like gay player in the NFL. Like, zero chance he was the first. But the fact that they made this huge media hype around this one guy, and then like he like, I guess like one of my maybe not complaints, but like, even if you're not going to shine as a like star player, like you can do media events, like you can do these things that you can be a spokesperson in some way, do some of these things, and then he just never did anything. Like, I understand, like, I just want to play football, but then when you have this huge thing, like, they film you kissing your boyfriend during the draft, and like it's this huge event, and then it just completely goes away. It's like it just made it look like the NFL was like, oh, hey, look, we like gay people too, and then trying to be like
like sensationalizing it, not
exactly. It didn't feel genuine, I guess.
Okay.
Well, I don't think the NFL is very genuine.
No, no, absolutely not.
Whoa, the NFL. You saying that the NFL might have some problems? By the way, I just rented that Will Smith movie about the NFL. I bet it'll taint them in a great light.
Oh, the concussion movie? Yeah, that's sad, actually.
Yeah, no, it's like nobody saw the movie, but I think at this point everybody knows that concussions are a huge problem in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, it's not even necessarily like.
Go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead. I say it's not even always like the big hits either. Is what kind of comes down to is like they make a big deal out of like, oh, like head hits, like big head hits are bad, but like I think one of the main focuses is like it's the repeated small head hits too that are a huge problem.
That's what's really rattling the brain.
Well, it's crazy though, like go in there. They're like basically, have permanent brain damage and greatly shortened lives because of it.
And they get fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, like at a certain point in time, like I have friends that are like, I'll never let my kid play football for that reason. Like, I don't care how much they want to play. Is it worth your brain cells? Like,
exactly.
And it's one of those things that puts the perspective of how much they get paid in, like, it's kind of obscene the amount of money that professional athletes make, but also after football players are like done, or like really,
they don't really do anything else because their
bodies are fucked.
Not all of them, but shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're either lucky enough to be like a big enough name so that you can get endorsement deals for the rest of your life, or
there's a lot of them that don't even make that much money. Like a lot of them probably only make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year,
Oh, there's no way. Like I think even starting pay is at least a couple $100,000.
I don't know.
But then again,
I don't think anybody would do that shit for $50,000. I would barely do most things for $50,000.
I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna see what the lowest pay is.
Okay. But of course, it's nothing compared to what the fucking owners get.
Oh wait, no,
absolutely not.
The minimum annual salary is $500,000. Never mind.
Oh well.
So much more than you thought.
Yeah, that's
active roster. That's not somebody who sits.
Oh, true. That's starting line. That's different.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the league minimum.
And by the way, I think this is
I don't know.
I've talked about
this is probably
ever.
It's probably not accurate, anyways. But yeah, okay. I did want to say one more thing about NASCAR though, because everybody was all hyped up about them banning the flag, and which thank you.
By the way, the Confederate flag. We should.
Yeah, the Confederate flag. But so today they had like their first race back, so a lot of people were like, "Well, we're gonna tune in and support for the first time," and like they put out a pace car that was like it said "We back the blue," and then it had like American flags flying from it with the blue stripe through it. So it was like, okay, we're doing this, and now we're doing this. So a lot of people were pissed off about that. So I did want to mention they were cool for like 2 days, and now they're canceled again. So
they it's and they wonder, and people wonder why NASCAR has a diversity problem.
Right. Well, I also think that in some semblance of a way, they were probably trying to save face with some of their fans.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the fan base was fucking pissed. Let's be honest. Like,
yeah.
Literally burning their NASCAR memorabilia over not being able to wave their Confederate flags. Like, what the fuck? That blows my mind.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's move on.
You have a little video clip you wanted to show us?
Yes, I was gonna see. Let me see
something lighthearted.
Well, depending on what you.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
It does make you feel good.
Let me I like that as a preface.
Let me see if I can. Okay, and by the way, especially since apparently I wasn't able to. Oh, there we go. shared computer. God damn it! Why do they do this? Like, this is one of my problems with Zoom is like, you have to like click on things. So like, I didn't click on a thing that, and we'll probably share we'll go ahead and share your clip at the end, Matt, for posterity. But
works for me.
This is
TMZ. Here we go.
Yep, and this is a something that happened. Where was it? Arizona.
Is this a convenience store? Okay.
Yeah.
Gas station.
Are you the manager? Yes. You need to leave. We're not serving you. Hold on, guys. Okay. We do not serve
What?
Excuse me, but you did say that she needs to go back to her country. What is that?
Originally, Native Americans are
Excuse
from
me, this is what this whole world.
White people are not from this country. Don't serve her.
Yeah, you cannot tell her.
Racist ass.
You don't tell. No. Continue serving. Continue serving.
You need to leave. You're not a part of this.
You
need to leave. You're not a part of this. No. No, you do not come in here and use the F word and swear and call me a bitch.
I've never even said
I
that
said she is, and you're not a part of it.
I never even said that word.
So you get out of here. I know. I said she is, and that's why she's leaving. So you will leave too.
No. This is going all over the internet. You don't know who I am. You told her to go back to her country where she's from.
All the good parts coming up.
That's assault.
Yeah.
This is all horrible.
You born, bitch. I was born in America, bitch. Where are your ancestors from? They're not from this country. You're going back to Mexico. Bitch, you better go back to where you're from.
You just walked into her. Excuse me.
Hey, God, bitch. You did country. Oh my God.
Yeah, you deserved it. Oh my God. In my opinion. Yeah, you pushed her and she attacked you. That was self-defense.
Self-defense.
Yep. That's what you get. So yeah,
that was a good one too.
Like in Arizona, just a little background.
She bitch slapped her too. Yeah. She didn't even. It was a backhand. Like okay.
Well, and like people are like, oh, like the indigenous woman. She people were saying like, oh, she had, like they were going with like, oh, she attacked her for no reason. And if you do and I've seen like stills, you can see like the white woman grabs that woman's shirt to a point where it's like down, like it's like if you're like, I think it's like this.
Only you would do that, Josh.
I didn't. Someone else did, but it was to show like she was actually putting hands on the woman.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you could clearly see her touch her before she slapped her.
Yeah,
I don't think she would have slapped her otherwho.
Yeah, yeah, and.
Reminds me of, you see that other video of that white dude getting...
She's saying to the guy recording, you gotta go too. Who are you?
You see the video of the dude getting knocked the fuck out after he calls the dude the N-word?
Mm-hmm.
Which one? I've seen a lot of those guys.
Yeah. There was a recent one.
It was like at a protest, and this dude was like was it the one where he was like on his bike or had his bike like and they're like all these people just driving by like with signs protesting or whatever, and he yells out some expletive including the N-word, and not even the dude he yelled at jumps off the back of the car and just goes up to him and just knocks him right in the face.
Oh, it's so good. But the best part about it is,
oh god, it was so funny.
The best part about it is the guy that got punched touched the other guy first.
Right.
So he has the ability to defend himself, and he fucking does.
There's one I saw of this Asian guy being like harassed by this like white dude in flip-flops, and the flip-flop thing is the funniest details. But the white guy kept trying to get
flip-flops. Why do we still even have flip-flops?
They are not good footwear. Like I just can't. I can understand.
They're for the beach only.
I can understand Crocs. Crocs can at least stay on your feet, and they're comfy. They're foam. But like flip-flops.
Hideous, but comfortable.
Hideous, but uncomfortable. But comfortable. Flip-flops, like for me, every time I wear them, they're just like doing what they're called. They're like flipping and flopping on my heels, and I hate it.
They just make so much noise.
How do fucking frat bros do
Walmart
it?
And there's like 50 people walking around in flip-flops, and it sounds like everybody's fucking tap dancing.
Oh god! It's just also, it's like, I'm not trying to see your fucking feet.
Yeah.
Like,
But in this video I saw like the white guy was trying to get into the Asian guy's face, and the Asian guy in the street kept backing up until he was like in an intersection, and like to a point where he's backed up into a truck that's stopped at a red light, and like then it just goes off, and the white dude tries to fight the Asian dude, and the Asian dude knocks him the fuck out of his face.
Hell yes.
Like, it's great. It's one.
oh, he knocks him right out of the flip flops.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where it's just like the white guy had every chance to because the Asian guy was just backing up. He didn't want to get into a confrontation, but you know what? Don't start nothing, there won't be nothing.
Exactly.
So anyway, Matt, how
You
are things?
forgot his name.
Sorry.
I'm Galaxy Tab E.
Yeah, it's, like most of the time when we've done these Zoom chats, everybody's had their like name there and just like fuck. And we just met. I'm gonna say this: like me and Matt, we're getting along very well. But yeah,
Good time.
most of the guests I think I've met for the first time on this thing, which yeah. But Matt, so what else? What other creative endeavors are you doing? Because I see you got a lighting system there. Is that for your TikTok? Or are you doing some other stuff? Video.
So I do. I am interested in making like short films and stuff like that. That like I've always been interested in horror movies, so like that got me interested in filmmaking. I don't know if I'll end up doing like if I ever do make like if I ever get into filmmaking as a profession or like in any sort of like professional sense. I don't know if horror is going to be the way that I go still. I would like to, but I think that if I'm going to, pursue comedy, then my first movie would probably be a comedy movie, or I could go the comedy horror route. But yeah, I have some lighting gear because I bought a green screen. So the lighting stuff is actually supposed to be for lighting a green screen.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to be able to do green screen stuff, but I need a newer PC because my current PC doesn't have a graphics system, yeah. So I can't run like good editing software. So I gotta wait a little bit. But yeah, I'll
don't lie, Matt. It's really for your TikToks.
No, I haven't made any TikToks yet. I just sit and watch them for hours.
He's got like 50 TikToks he hasn't posted yet. He knows.
I need a pet to have the best kind of TikTok presence. It's literally all of my TikTok feed is just animals.
Aw, I know. I want them.
Which I feel like all TikTok should be. But
yes, it's literally just a curated feed of cute animals.
Yeah. Okay. I'm there for the cute animals. I'm there for the food porn for sure.
Yeah.
And I am there for some of the goofy dancing and bits and stuff like that. Like, did you see Datasaur?
No.
Have you seen
Datasaur is.
Oh God, it's the best. Oh, it's so good.
I get
everyone needs to watch it.
When I've like seen TikToks that like people post on Twitter or whatever, it's one of those things where it's like I don't get it because it's young people humor. But right. I am glad that they have an outlet. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But
the Datasaur is like this family. They're really like well-to-do or whatever. Just the kids will just like randomly say, "What do you think about that Datasaur?" And then their suburban dad like pretends that he's a dinosaur and like destroys the whole house and like makes massive mess.
Okay, I need to look that up sometime.
It's amazing.
It's pretty good.
My favorite one was where they bring him breakfast in bed. Did you see that one, Matt?
No, I missed that one.
So it's my favorite one. So the kids bring them the mom and dad breakfast in bed, and they've got like this beautiful 4-post bed or whatever, and it's like they've got like these bright orange mango smoothies and like oatmeal and stuff for them. And so they bring it in the bed and they're like, "Well, how's the breakfast taste, Datasaur?" And he just like immediately takes his whole smoothie and he's like in dinosaur mode and just dumps it all over himself. And they've got like all white linen. And the mom's just having a conniption, and he's like swinging from the bedpost and stuff. Oh my God.
Oh,
and then he takes her smoothie and pours it all over her. Oh God. It's so good.
Let's get past this ad. I don't have it on the computer, but I have it here.
Right. Oh yeah, you're getting it.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna. Well, you guys have seen it, so
We've seen it. Yeah.
You know what? I'll watch this later.
People can go watch it for themselves, but look up Dinosaur. It's fucking hilarious.
But Matt, you mentioned horror movies and stuff like I'm a big movie guy myself. And also like I'm interested in like comedy. People who are usually do comedy stuff, who go into the filmmaking. I mean, you look at like Jordan Peele, like as funny as Moments in Get Out and Us are, they are genuinely great horror, like fantastic horror movies. And you also got people like, I mean, I just saw King of Staten Island, and like, I'm just gonna say, I don't think Judd Apatow's making comedies anymore. I think he's making dramas with some funny bits in it. Like he's basically, in my opinion, not too far from Noah Baumbach. So
I figured that. Yeah, no, Jordan Peele is like shockingly good with horror. I was very happy, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna double check just to be extra sure.
But yeah, like if you watch Key and Peele, they do a lot of horror stuff, and it's just like he most likely wrote a majority of their horror sketches.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay, I wanted to make like 100% sure he is doing the new Candyman, and if there's anybody who I think
to be fair, because like I think people aren't talking enough about the actual director. I think her name is Nia Costa or something.
Oh, is he not directing it?
No. He's just producing it. Like,
okay.
It's one of those weird. It's one of those things where it's just like the director.
He didn't write it though.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I pulled it up on Google. Great. So, because I was like, wait a minute, I was positive.
It's one of those things where I don't think the director, and especially when it's from a producer that's more known. I mean, if we talk about like the 2014 Ninja Turtles movie, people called it Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles, and it's like he's probably had some hand in it, like creatively, but for the most part, it was, it wasn't like him directing, and that's something people don't really look for. But what are your horror go-tos?
I'm a big fan of found footage stuff. My love of horror movies actually blossomed from so my brother is 7 years older than I am. So when I was like a kid, he was watching like cool, he was watching cool scary movies, and I was like, I want to,
I want to watch it. Yeah.
So I remember him and my older cousin were watching the Blair Witch Project. And they like kept making me leave the room, but I like really wanted to watch it. But I never ended up getting to watch it until one of my proudest moments as a kid, and like really blew my horror movie like fascination. But I mean, I'm like 8 years old, and I snuck downstairs because they had the VHS tape at my house, and I watched the Blair Witch Project alone at like as late as it could be. Like with the volume super way down low, so it's like it's got a special place in my heart.
Yeah,
because like it was just, and as a kid I had no idea I understood it was scary, but like it was very boring to me as a kid. But I was like, I'm watching a grown up movie, so I don't care.
Right.
But and I watched it later, I wanted to appreciate it, and realizing that like one of the biggest parts of that horror movie are there's the scary paranormal stuff, but like the terror of being lost is really present there. And I think that like I've never been like actually like really really lost, but I got lost driving home one time before like I had a smartphone, and I was driving home from Iowa City to Burlington, Iowa, and I was just completely fucking lost, and it was like dark, and I didn't know how to get home, and just like the panic of like, what do I do? Like, I have no idea where I'm at. I have no, like, and I'd driven it far enough away that, like, I couldn't get a bearing on my surroundings. And just, like, that fear was enough to be, like, scary for me. So after that, I actually had an additional appreciation for that movie. But, Blair Witch Project, I would say, is my number one. Honestly, like, I'm a really big fan of the original Conjuring, like the first one.
Hey, Matt, how's your internet connection? We're
his mic is just, I think.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, great. Okay, sorry.
Is this any better?
Yeah. That's better. Yep.
Okay. Sorry, this thing is old.
No, I love the original Conjuring too.
I actually haven't
Yeah,
seen it. I should.
It holds up, honestly. Like I think it came out probably like, I don't know, 2013-ish.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Didn't the guy who did that also go on, because he did Saw as well, but didn't he also direct that The Invisible Woman?
I'm not from directors are where I really fall through. I only have like a few directors that I can really
Like name?
think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I like David Lynch.
Of course.
David
Like,
Lynch
he's
and Wes Anderson, like the two like white, like literally like the stereotypical indie white film boy. Like,
right. Yeah, I do think I need to go through Wes Anderson's filmography again, but David Lynch. David Lynch is one of those filmmakers that a lot of filmmakers want to be and don't understand why he's great. I'm thinking of.
He also did Insidious.
Yeah, which was doesn't hold up.
And Dead Silence, and
I love Dead Silence.
I am into any movie that has
Aquaman.
Yeah. Oh, James Wan. No. James Wan did.
He did The Conjuring.
Oh yes, no, I do know James Wan.
Yeah, the guy I'm thinking of is probably one of the writers.
That would make sense. Yeah,
like the guy he collaborated with on Saw. But yeah, James Wan.
Because James Wan he directed Saw and co-wrote Saw 3, but he didn't do all of the Saw movies.
Yeah, no, he moved on. He did Aquaman, and then I think he's trying to be an action director now because he did the Seventh Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
he did
then went on to Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a guy I enjoy his stuff. I don't like the Saw franchise, but I actually really enjoyed the first Saw movie. Because it was such a small, interesting concept as a mystery kind of thing.
I think that they could have done the series better based off of the first movie. I think the concept was definitely there. I think the execution just fell short.
Well, it's one of those things.
I won't lie to you, I watched all of them.
No, same. I've seen them all.
It's one of those things like I feel like before Marvel movies, that was kind of the thing. If you have a franchise, you run it into the ground, especially for horror. Like that was like what we're looking at now with Marvel and a lot of these universe movies.
Look at it. Like even Paranormal Activity.
I don't care how shitty it is. I'll still watch it. I love it.
Are they still making Paranormal Activity movies? I thought the last
one bombed
so much that
they I think the fourth was really where I was just like, are you fucking kidding me with this?
Yeah.
Right.
Because 1 through 3 I really liked. I think that, and this might be like a horror movie like blasphemy. I think the Paranormal Activity 3 has one of the best horror movie endings of all time.
Sure. I don't know about like where it stands in the community, the Paranormal Activity movies.
The community, I love it.
Like there's
the horror community. There really is.
I know there is.
Yeah, like there's cons specifically for it, and
well, of course,
Fangoria is like the linchpin that kind of put everything in. Yeah. But I hope to be like to go one day to a horror con because I have content out there that people like horror wise,
Yes.
Yeah. But
I definitely like the short film. Like as a filmmaker, I definitely I think a short film is like something I could absolutely see myself doing, but like I'm not much of a director, I think, and I think that's why I don't really have an interest in full feature stuff that I'm in charge of. But as far as like
you think writing
small films, like I would love to write a horror movie, absolutely.
You know what? Let's talk later because I've been wanting to get something going for a while. And I just can't get the right script. Okay, well we'll connect after that. Hey, Fancy Werewolf Lounge, connecting people.
But I like horror movies,
filmmaking, horror.
Yeah.
No,
I'm a big comedy or actually I still kind of technically do. It's not officially canceled, but I have another podcast called Monster Jamboree where me and my buddy Eric we review horror movies.
Oh,
and
nice.
I say that we review horror movies, but it's.
Do you just fuck around?
It started as genuine, and then it eventually turned into like us gossiping and then like talking about all the other horror movies we liked, or yeah, like we'll have our like common movie that like we'll have the episode and like we will watch the movie that we were supposed to, and then whether like unless it's like really terrible, because if it's good, the problem is it's like yeah, it's great, like I don't know what to talk about, like because we're not supposed to like review it, because it started as a bad horror movie podcast.
Sure.
And then if watching too many shitty horror movies to continue this, like it was like being beaten over the head.
And you know, Liberty knows this about me. Like one of my things is I love shitty genre movies. Like one of the things that kind of bond me and Liberty is the TV channel Comet. I don't know if you. It's a sci-fi horror fantasy. You know, they play like all these like
bizarre horror
genre
movies.
Yeah,
that sounds dope.
Weird ass shit.
It's pretty awesome, and like
it's just free. It's free. Plug your antenna into your TV. You will get.
Can also, and there's also an app actually that you.
I forgot about the app.
You can get an app on your TV for that channel. So.
Yeah, and now Comet give us $40 for mentioning you.
Yeah, look up Comet on in your app TV stuff, and it plays just like it's not like a streaming service. It's like a channel. It's
just like a channel. Like it's you can't go on there and pick it. It's just showing what it's showing when it's showing it.
Yeah, and but
like Saturdays are basically just for watching Comet when you're lame like us.
Yeah, the movie that I think we kind of like. That's great. Me and Liberty did was this movie called Cellar Dweller.
Cellar Dweller.
Oh hell yeah,
a classic.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So
it's a must-see.
Yeah, but if you ever,
that's so fucking funny too.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
What was
no? Just Cellar Dweller. Go ahead.
God, no, go ahead, Matt.
I say like Cellar Dweller. When as I said, I've tried every artistic fucking thing. When I used to fuck around with music production, and my DJ name, one of my considerations was Cellar Dweller.
That's actually a great DJ Cellar Dweller. That's pretty great.
DJ Cellar Dweller.
Yeah, it has, and maybe this is because
and he only plays the Monster Mash.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, there are so many Monster Mash ripoffs that you can just do like.
This is like hundreds of remix Matt Lamb original Cellar Dweller.
Fuck yeah.
Monster Mash remix.
That'd be a dope Halloween party.
I love it. I'm backing it. I will go find me you $50.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah,
support artists.
But if you ever do that podcast again, like keep us in mind. We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll come on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We'll come on as guests.
Yeah, well, so my problem right now is, Zoom is working for video call, but I used to do this in the same room with the person, and like I have this audio interface, and like I spent all this fucking money on podcasting equipment to like have like all this like audio quality shit. So like I have all this stuff, and I haven't figured out a way to get my technology to be compatible with recording calls.
Oh wow!
Oh.
Well, I mean,
so I'm like, God damn it.
This is a little bit
inside
Josh, baseball.
Did you have to pay for it or something to be able to record it? Because someone else had mentioned that to me with Zoom.
Me?
Yeah, someone had.
Yeah, well, you have to pay to record longer than I think 45 minutes with more than one person.
Oh, okay. How much did it cost?
I believe it's. I might be wrong. I can't remember. I think it's like $14, something like that.
Yeah.
It's not super expensive, but it's like you do have to pay to record longer than I mean, that's where they get you. But yeah, but yeah,
I'm having some luck with Filmora though.
$dollars off of so many comics to do goddamn podcasts.
Yeah, they're making a shit ton of money right now.
It's free, but yeah, they are making money right now.
It is one of those things that
grateful for them.
Yeah, podcasts as much as everybody had a I had a different podcast before this podcast, but it's like the thing is like ever since the pandemic, everybody who didn't already have a podcast did a podcast, because there's nothing.
Why not?
Yeah, because there's nothing really to do in terms of comedy right now, or most entertainment, especially live entertainment. So
I think it's like, even though we have 10 million listeners, and this is obviously a super important podcast.
Yes,
I find it
it's
just
10
cathartic,
million and
it's
not
nice
8.
to talk with other people that you wouldn't normally talk with. It's weird.
yeah.
Like, it is a genuine way to reconnect or connect.
Yeah, and I like it's really great, especially inside this podcast. Like, Liberty usually does the booking because she's very well connected in the comedy community. So like I've met Dante Powell, James Fisher Jr. You guys are the people I haven't met before, and it's fascinating to get to know you guys, especially like learning your experience in art and stuff like that. And yeah, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this technology and podcasting. So
it's opening up a lot of windows for sure.
Yeah, it's also easy to get lost in the shuffle. Like, I still haven't figured out a good way to promote stuff. So
right.
Yeah, it's like, that's not like, trying to get your podcast noticed is, especially now, like, near goddamn impossible. But at the same time, it's like, you might as well just hope. Like,
yeah, even if as far as I know, we have like 8 YouTube subscribers, and I do get better at marketing. But
two of them are me and Aloe. One of the others is my dad.
yeah.
So it's so the other 5 are like my fake accounts. God damn it.
I used to have we used to have like a decent amount of listeners on Monster Jamboree, but like after I moved in, like, because like I said, we used to do it in my apartment, and then I moved, so
right.
now I don't really have a way to do it. And it's because we never really had guests on Monster Jamboree, because it was just like, it was the whole dynamic was like, it was me and my other friend Eric, and we would just like, and he's also a gay man, and we would just end up bickering like fucking a married couple. And people seem to enjoy that part, where it would go from like us talking about movies to us being like, well, no, fuck you, like actual heated arguments.
Is it still up? Is that podcast still
up?
Yeah,
Monster Jamboree is on punninggame.com. That's hosted by my good friend Wade Taylor. There's also a bunch of other stuff on there. There's Who Gives a F is main guest, No Rational Thought, Not Worth the Time. They have a bunch of stuff. That's my host side. So my other podcast, The Grove, are also on there. I used to have 2 podcasts. The Grove is definitely canceled, but Monster Jamboree is just in hiatus at the moment.
Believe me, I am familiar with starting multiple podcasts and then canceling them. Just to go through the ones I had, there's one called The Townies that I did with a bunch of open mic comedy friends, especially Not Genius. I did with a bunch of open mic comedy friends. And Duper Heroes, which was a superhero movie podcast. So, and then there's this. This is my 4th podcast I've started. I think there's something wrong with me.
No,
podcasts are fun. Like, I'm starting up another one soon. Actually, like, I was literally texting with I literally, before this podcast started, was fucking around with my podcasting equipment, because I was trying to get my whole situation figured out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be starting another one soon. So keep an eye out for that. I think we're calling it the Empty Parlor podcast.
Oh, okay. I
like the name.
Yeah. All right. We've gone for like an hour and a half, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's only 5.
It's only 5. We started at like 3:30 though.
No, we didn't.
Well, 3:45. So, oh, you're right. Sorry.
Look at how long the recording is. It's only been like an hour. I think.
I can't see. It just says recording. That's the problem with this. Or this is unfortunately a lot of bitching about Zoom.
Okay, I can tell you almost exactly what time we
All
got
right.
in. Okay, you sent me a question mark at 3:49, so I wasn't even in the chat until like
Okay.
3:50.
All right, so we have some time left. All right.
And
Okay.
what you were saying about your podcast and how you guys just bicker and back and forth, that's probably why people watch or listen to us too, because I'm always giving Josh so much shit.
Hey.
It's great.
It's all love though.
It's great.
No, that's exactly it. Is you never have like I think me and him had like one like legitimately heated argument, and we didn't even push that one. But otherwise, it was always just like disagreements. Like he actually has like a not fully different music or movie taste than I do, so like that was what kind of also it wasn't just us agreeing with each other
right.
How much we liked this movie or disliked it. It was always like he would make me watch movies that he loves that he knows that I hate. Like I think that The Bye Bye Man is one of the dumbest goddamn movies ever.
Yeah,
oh, he's the one who likes The Bye Bye Man.
Yes.
He's the only one.
Yeah, he loves that movie, and I was like, "This movie is fucking garbage." So we had a we had a good spat over
I'll
that.
watch it even if it's trash, but it was not.
So
it was not good. It was not good.
And then I'll admit I'm probably in the minority here. I really didn't like the Babadook.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I thought it was boring. I thought that it like drifted thematically. I didn't like the aesthetic.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's like almost like a concept that's just too easy. You know what I mean?
It was
that.
Maybe just me. But.
I think it just thematically it drifted for me too much. Like it went from like, and there's the perspective change that kind of like takes place where it goes from like the son is a piece of shit to oh no actually the mom's a piece of shit to oh no there's actually a boogeyman. I was like I don't fucking get it.
I don't know. It's one of those movies that I like, especially like the thought experiment of like whether or not the Babadook is like I honestly am like up in the air of whether I think the Babadook is real or what, or if the Babadook isn't real, what does that mean for what's going on in the story? And you know, if it is real, I like the ending a lot, where it's just like we're just gonna ignore this problem.
Yep.
I kind of love that kind of twist, and it's just like because it is a good metaphor for, you know, parenting and mental illness and stuff like that. Just like
just pretend it's not there.
Yeah, it makes the movie even darker than just like a monster. So that's what I enjoy about it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I definitely don't think it's a bad movie. It wasn't for me. Like that's usually my concession. Is like there's movies that I'll say are a bad movie, and then there's movies I don't like.
Yes.
And and sometimes they're not even the same category. There are some movies that I realize are trash, and I'm still like, I like them.
So
that's my
it's ironic, but this morning I was like, you know, I was like thinking about how I wanted to like start sharing a quote like during the podcast, and the quote that I came across or that I wanted to share today was by Dudley Field Malone, and the quote is, "I have never in my life learned anything from any man who agreed with me." And I think that's, you know, kind of, you know, thematic for everything that's going on right now. But not everybody's going to agree on the movie, but then you get like an interesting other perspective, you know. I didn't even really.
Oh, yeah.
I like, there's a joke from one of Patton Oswalt's specials. Not sure which one, but this is like, you know, he was in his 40s and he's just like, there's like he talks about how he's one of those guys who got really snotty about music and stuff like that, and like he's like saying at that point in his life he was just like, now there is music, now there are two kinds of music I like and music I don't listen to, and that's it. And like even like giving somebody like Nickelback you know, a break, because his thesis is like you know, people complain like Nickelback's just doing it for money and pussy. It's just like, you know what people have done for money and pussy? They have done genocides. So, yeah, it's just in the grand scheme of things, you know, Nickelback isn't the worst that could happen.
No, not anymore. Anyway,
Well, I
now
mean, we
it's
have
Imagine
Donald Trump
Dragons.
for president, so
True.
who cares about Nickelback?
I genuinely think Chad Kroger.
Live and let Nickelback.
I mean, he's
okay?
Canadian, so he can't be president. But you know.
Exactly.
Uh,
No, actually, like, and the worst part is like there are like I'll even fully admit like there are some Nickelback songs that I can still fuck with. Like,
Yeah, like I kind of just even as a bit, I love doing the look at this photograph. But
it is ridiculous. It is.
I say
It is a dumb voice.
yes, I was into Nickelback when they were when I was younger. I actually did really like that. You know, this is how you remind me. Like I liked it.
I'm not like.
I like Animals. That's pretty much my only Nickelback song that I constantly fuck with. Animals is such a great fucking
Is it what
song.
you fuck with or what you fuck to?
Ah, dude, both. Just depends on when it's playing.
That sounds like the worst amateur gay porn. Just like watching two dudes fucking and Nickelback's on the back. Have you ever watched those porns where like those amateur stuff people put online where it's just like there's a TV or music in the background? You're just like, I'm put out like, especially if it's like there's a TV in the background. You're just like, wait, what is this? What part of is this? Is this Ozarks? Should I watch Ozarks?
Just completely not paying attention.
Yeah. Just
No,
okay.
I think amateur stuff is better in my opinion. It's more genuine. I think that like all the produced stuff, I'm over it. Like, I wanna see
Especially the way
average fucking idiots.
Especially if you go on like Pornhub and stuff like that, and it's all like stepsister, stepbrother stuff.
Yeah,
and all the same.
everyone's too pretty.
they're too pretty to be done.
Yeah,
incest.
why can't they have a snaggletooth like me?
Yeah. like, where's the fucking average looking motherfuckers? Like, I feel like an asshole watching this stuff because I'm like, well, why don't I have an 8-pack? Like,
Well, they're on
I want to
OnlyFans.
see someone else stub their own toe with their own nipple during porn.
exactly.
Yeah.
I want to see a pile of laundry on the bed. Like,
Oh, so
there shouldn't even
are
be
you one of those guys?
Who has sheets?
Are you one of those guys who doesn't even bother to do the bare minimum of a cleaning before you have a hookup come over?
oh no, dude, if I know I'm having a hookup, like my shit is spotless.
Yeah,
Duh.
absolutely. That's
That's the whole thing is, like, gay hookups are completely different than straight hookups
okay.
because there's a few different kinds. There's a few different kinds, but for the most part, there's public hookups, which that is a thing, and then there's regular hookups. And the thing with gay guys is you can't just like butt fuck on a whim. Like
That's true.
you have to be prepared.
Right.
Like there's cleaning, there's a specific diet you like people normally eat that day. Like that's the bottoms. That is way harder work.
It has to be tough for people who just have gay sex because it's just like that's like straight sex is just like there's times when you like, but yeah, it's just like you can just like, is she wet enough? Then slip it in. I mean, condoms, of course. Always use a condom.
Exactly.
Practice.
But yeah, no, like
Everybody knows that.
but gay hookups, nah, it's a whole new ball game. You got to be ready as fuck. So it's like I might as well clean my room too.
Right.
Clean my ass, clean my room.
Exactly. That's why again, shout out to any bottoms out there. My fellow tops and I appreciate your work.
This is Pride Month, so there should be bottom appreciation.
Dude, Pride Month should just be bottom appreciation month. Like,
Yeah.
It's true.
I love it.
But
No,
okay.
there should be a separate month for it.
Yeah.
yeah, they do deserve their own entire.
In fact, let's just enact it. What month do we want it to be?
Let's see.
Anything going on in June? Oh, Pride. You know what? December.
Yeah, that's a good
Jesus'
space.
birthday,
Like,
I
exactly.
mean, Jesus was a bottom. I
I think I can see that. He was a very giving person.
Well, yeah, but was he given that dick though? That's also.
Nah, no way.
I feel like we need to chart this. Like, what was is Jesus a bottom or a top? Sorry about the blasphemy.
God.
I'm just pretending this isn't happening.
That us heathens are not going. Are not going. You're not gonna say.
I'm going
it,
to
but
gay
you know
hell.
we're gonna go to hell. Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely going to gay hell.
If there's if there is a specific hell,
You
like
have
a
a
straight
chance
hell
at
and a
forgiveness,
hell,
you know.
yeah. If there's a
Jesus will forgive you for talking about him taking dick in the butt. But you have to ask.
because
So.
it's true. Like that's
God.
okay, but
Because it's true.
God.
I can't with you right
I
now.
can't. I hope we get some angry Christians on this. I hope so.
I mean, get that side traffic up, baby.
Yeah, right here. I'm pissed. No, no, I'm kidding.
But speaking of Pride Month, it's June. It's Pride Month. You know, we have Matt. You got any like plans for a quarantine Pride?
No, not really. I mean, like, I think it's really strange because all this social like stuff that's going on during Pride Month that isn't related to Pride Month. I'm honestly kind of comfortable like taking a back seat and being like, you know what, I don't need Pride this month. Like,
Right.
more important, like important, 100%. But and like, I think that it has its places that are like it obviously needs to be in the public lexicon, I guess,
Yeah,
like
public
during
consciousness.
June. But I think that but with the Black Lives Matter movement going on and that really being a huge header and that being a huge push, I think that Pride Month can absolutely. I mean, not that it's even taking a back seat necessarily, but rather it's we're focusing our efforts in different ways, I guess.
And,
Well, yeah, because we're all in solidarity. You know, like
Yeah, exactly.
the average person is more than willing to say with no issue, Black Lives Matter. You know,
100%.
and that's what, you know, like you said, it's not like, you know, I'm bisexual, so I'm proud, or I don't have any shame in my sexuality or anything like that, but this is, you know, not that it's more important, like you said, but it's just pressing right now. It's what's happening right now. So
and we don't need to be like, by the way, also gay stuff. It's like, no, we got this going on. Like,
well, we also got
gay stuff is included in what's happening. Is the other thing.
Absolutely.
It's like it's a Black Lives Matter movement, but it's also like hey, police have been fucking up minorities across the board, and gay people are minorities as well. And you know what? We're also fucking tired of it. Like there was that situation where the Des Moines police like raided the gay bar. It still happens.
We lost what you just said. What they raided the gay bar?
Yeah, the Des Moines police raided the Blazing
where
Saddle.
they were
Blazing Saddle, just a saddle.
They were helping.
Yeah, so
protest.
The people
and they
were helping people out. They arrested the bar staff. It's ridiculous. Like,
do you guys think that the police want us to hate them at this point? Like, I feel like there's because I even like saw a post by like I think a precinct in New York that they were proud of this, that they pulled over a guy in like a scooter who had a bunch of weed on him. It's just like no one gives a fuck about weed anymore. Like that actually makes you look worse because most people in America right now believe nobody should go to prison if they believe in
most
anything
people in America think we need to get the pot dealers out of jail. Why are we spending money to incarcerate?
So I think there's like a 60% approval rate for full legalization and like nothing.
No.
Yeah. It's and I don't know. This is
get out and vote. That's all I can say. Get involved in your local. This is like all I can say is get involved in your local politics. You have to get involved. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
You have to vote.
But
I'm glad that I'm out of Iowa because
assholes.
Fucking Kevin Reynolds ever get off her fucking hypocritical ass to legalize weed. Never gonna happen. She's the fucking worst.
She won't legalize weed, but she'll get multiple DUIs.
Yes, it's just.
But back to the whole pride thing, that, and has been, a history of police brutality towards the gay community, and specifically also, Black LGBTQ people. So I think
and trans people especially.
Yeah, especially trans people, especially trans women, Black trans women, who I've I'm not going to speak on anybody's behalf. I mean, it's my fight in so much that I should be using my privilege to help other people, but I've heard many people try to also include Black trans people in like the people who have been murdered by the police and how people say, and it's and especially, and again, straight cis white man, Black trans women are kind of the beginning of the pride movement. If you look closely into the history of Stonewall, especially. So
Pride was the first Pride was a riot.
Yeah.
I I heard in my head the context I was thinking is like, yeah, the first Pride was a riot.
Yeah, dude, fucking it was lit.
Yeah, but
It was so lit. I'm
oh my God.
fire.
It was a smash. It was a brick smashing through a window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fucking out. It was good time.
Only you, Josh.
I know. Well,
It was a riot. Best Pride ever.
ever. But yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like it's going to be in a different context this year, especially for several reasons. I think the big one is Corona and COVID.
That too.
But also like the fact that there is this whole uprising protests going on.
Well, it's a cloud. It's a cloud hanging over our country. It's a
Yep.
cloud that's been hanging over the whole world. And hopefully this time we just don't stop until things are actually right.
Yeah, we're going past, not going past George Floyd. We're always going until there's real justice brought because of that. We're going.
Oh, how many more people have died at the hands of police?
Yeah, exactly.
Since this happened. I mean, I can pull up a Twitter feed where you can see hundreds of people that are literally maimed.
Yeah.
Permanently maimed from rubber bullets and shit.
There's a writer,
losing their eyes.
There's this great writer, Linda Trudeau, I believe her name is, who writes a lot about class issues. She
the journalist, got the journalist.
Yeah, she's great. If you haven't followed her, she's fantastic. She's also incredibly funny. So, but yeah, she lost sight in her left eye at a protest because of a rubber bullet.
They are
not the only one. Yeah,
targeting journalists. Like, they are trying to keep the shit out of the media. They do not want. They do not.
They're shooting them at people.
They do not want the voices to be heard.
Right. I also follow. I talk about this podcast a lot because I love it. Behind the Bastards, the guy who runs it, Robert Evans. It goes by I Write Okay. He was a embedded reporter in the Middle East for a long time. He does some great stuff. But yeah, he was at one of the protests, I believe in Portland, and he was just driving by and the cops stopped him, and there were like 16 cops in riot gear just in front of his car. They put out spike strips, and like when he like said like I'm a reporter, they kind of like there's a few that jumped off the curb and started approaching him. It's just like, fuck. And again, this is what I'm saying. Do the police want us to hate them at this point? It's weird, I don't
know if they want us to hate us, but they definitely want us to fear them. And at this point, I don't think anyone does. I think we're all just like, fuck all of you.
I think the thing is like there's enough people mad right now that it is very much a point of.
Well, even look at what happened in Des Moines with that reporter that was at the protest, and they're holding up their press badge and saying, I'm press, I'm press, I'm press. And the police came and literally pepper sprayed him right in the face for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's one of those, and because it's especially insidious, a movie Matt doesn't like, because you also get these pictures of cops kneeling in solidarity. I mean, I don't understand how they can think that they can give solidarity in any other way but quitting. Honestly,
because it was a photo op. It was
and then like you see also tweets saying like 45 minutes later they were pepper spraying protesters.
Right. Yeah. No, it's all just they want you to like. It seems like to me, anyways. Even what I've like witnessed locally, I think that there are Well, first of all, we know that not all police are bad, but they are participating in an extremely corrupt system,
Right.
So I don't know. It's just they kneel and they do all this, and like I feel like some of them genuinely feel that way, and then there are others that don't. And I think that they want us to feel solidarity with them, but like you said, 5 minutes later, they turn around and do the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how awesome what's going on in Seattle is?
That's some dope shit.
I haven't been like current on it, but it is. I think it's from what I understand, it does seem like an interesting thing that's going on.
They've taken over like a whole huge neighborhood. So the Capitol Hill district is like a large district of the city, and they're basically like, it's just lawless there right now, and they're just like, it's basically like an everyday farmer's market. There's vendors in the street, they're feeding everybody, like.
I had a guy at work was talking about it, but he was just like, I'm all for like, getting rid of the police, but like communism is much worse. And it's like, these people don't have any real power though, dude. Like, it's something weird I find with anti-government people, because it's like, oh, you're anti-government, yet you believe all the things that the CIA and FBI tell you about socialism. Like that's
right.
One of those things.
What was funny to me is how Trump like warned Seattle's governor, or the governor of Washington, and was like, if you don't get shit together in Seattle, I'm coming out there. And she was just like, shut the fuck up.
Like, Trump, you're not going to do shit except for like pull the Bible upside down.
Sit down, Grandpa.
I'm going to rush in there. All right, cool, dude. Please do. Please do.
Yes, okay, so anyway, I think we're gonna be trying to wrap this up pretty soon.
For sure.
Let me one more time try to show this clip of Matt's stand up so everyone can see him in action. Let's see. There we go. Let me get back to the place I wanted to be. There we go.
So I started dating again. And a guy rolled in. Went on a date. The guy rolled in wearing a T-shirt, which no. And then, pro tip: T-shirts aren't date material, guys. Not first, at least. But his T-shirt was a novelty T-shirt that said "Not adulting today." And I was like, "Can you adult a little bit?" Like, especially later? I'm not trying to catch a charge with your dumb T-shirt. I don't know. I went on a couple more of them, though. He was a yoga instructor, which is why I kept with it, because I was like, it's bendy, that's fun. I don't know. I had to end it, though. I got like a weird vibe off of him, because he only ever wanted to have sex in the child's pose. That joke doesn't even make sense. That just makes me happy.
All right. So proof that Matt Lamb is hilarious.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. Matt, do you have anything you want to promote? Any place people can find you?
Like I said, I'm starting up that new podcast, the Empty Parlor. That's gonna be me and my buddy Jeff Lynch. It's going to be so Jeff is like me if I was left-brained. Like he's like we're very similar in like we both like the same like sciencey like stuff. So I like kind of the woo-woo type of science, like ghosts and stuff, and he's very like math.
Normal stuff.
Yeah, but he's very good with like the actual like sciencey side. So we have fun conversations about like the universe because we both come at it from different perspectives, but with the same type of open-mindedness.
Right.
So we like to talk about like anything from like, I mean, we've literally talked about like multiverses to like singularities and black holes to like just a whole bunch of different wild stuff. So that's kind of be the general theme, is just like weird science and whatnot.
Weird science.
Weird science. And then you can find me on Facebook or also shout out.
Sorry, first off, is there any place you can find the podcast right now, or?
Oh no, so we haven't recorded anything at all yet, but
okay.
It's better, like we're still getting everything sorted, but that's going to be uploaded to punandgame.com. That's where you can find all my other stuff too, as well as a lot of other dope podcasts. Highly recommend it. I listen to their stuff all the time. Like it's genuinely entertaining. Wade Taylor and his brother Nate are just hilarious. And
is it generally like, are they mostly Iowa-based podcasts then, or like from people that we know, Matt, or is
so Wade is no longer in Iowa actually, but
where is he?
He moved to Utah.
Oh, cool. Good for him.
Yeah. So he's in Utah right now, and his brother I think is still in Iowa, but like I think there's a couple other. I think I don't know if you know Judge Dye. Judge Dye has this podcast with. Oh man, I feel like a dick for not remembering who else is on it. But they also have a podcast, and yeah, it's a good time.
Cool.
Yeah, that's when we're uploading the Empty Parlor here, and probably we'll call it a month.
Okay.
Cool.
And I'll put
punandgames.com.
I'll put the website.
Fun and Game, no S.
Fun and Game. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll put the website in the description so like people can can find it when it comes out and like check out the other podcast.
For sure.
You said also you're on Facebook and
Facebook at Matt Lamb. It's business and friends, I guess. Like I still promote there, but also like I also like to put jokes on there and also share my. I don't really share too many opinions, but it's mostly just jokes and shared articles. But
yep.
I also post links to when I do shows and stuff like that. So if you're listening and you're in Pittsburgh, where I will be hopefully be doing shows soon, hopefully I'll have some shows to be sharing within the near future.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome, man. And
thanks for coming on, Matt. And
yeah, thanks for having me.
And
good luck to you in Pittsburgh, and wish you the best.
Yep.
For sure. Thank you so much.
And thank you all for listening. If you haven't, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/FancyWerewolfLounge, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. I believe those are the formats that we're on, SoundCloud. So yeah, and give us a review and 5 stars. That helps us a lot.
5 stars.
5 stars. And but signing off, I'm Josh Pfizer.
Hey, Liberty Bell, thanks for watching.
All right, thank you all. And one more thing, business of the week. I don't think we've done this one specifically featured, but things are opening back up, and so has Single Speed Brewery in Waterloo and Cedar Falls, Iowa. They're fantastic. They're great. I was in the Waterloo one not too long ago to use a gift card my sister gave me, and
Nice.
yeah, and they always are trying new beers. It's a great brewery.
And if you go there, get the Brussels sprouts.
Yeah,
Their
and they have incredible food.
Are fire.
Amazing. They're doing they're taking social distancing stuff very seriously. So
Good.
That's good for them. So check out Single Speed. They're fantastic, and you can find their stuff in a lot of Midwest grocery stores. So, but yeah, I'm Josh Pfizer.
Liberty Bell. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And thank you for being in the Fancy Werewolf Lounge. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Good night, everybody.